Hello there and welcome to another episode of MLS Ireland. I'll be bringing to you my predictions for Week 11. Yes, I know Week 11 and Philadelphia are actually top on the Eastern Conference. Perfect, thank you very much for joining me this week. I just want to thank you for actually subscribing to this, because I actually finally reached over 50 and I reached over 600 on Twitter, and I've got 570 on Instagram. So if you ever want to just hit the subscribe button, follow me on Twitter. The subscription which should be below, and Instagram, it's down there as well. So thank you very much for subscribing, and thank you very much. So I might as well start off with my predictions for this week's Vancouver against Portland Timbers. That's on tonight. It's going to be an interesting one. Portland are actually finally found their feet, and they're actually starting to score goals away from home, which is pretty impressive when they have to play another 100 games away from home, and they're playing Vancouver, so they don't really have that far to go, which is good. So I kind of think they may have a wee bit more freshness coming into this. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 win just for Portland, just for the fact is they're actually doing quite well at the moment, and I'm enjoying the way they play. Sorry, just bear with me 1 second. So that should be a good, interesting game. And the next one is Cincinnati, who just sacked their manager. They're taking on Montreal. So this one's going to be a kind of a hard one for Cincinnati. I do think they're going to find it hard now. It's more when they've started sacking things and doing all that kind of crap, which is I don't really agree with. But they are playing Montreal, and I think Montreal have a wee bit too much for them. So I'm going to go for a 2-0 win for Montreal. Cincinnati, you need to start trusting the manager and trusting the system, and everything will come out. And the next one, FC Dallas against another poor team who were pretty good last season and are not seem to be doing quite well at this moment. And FC Dallas are a pretty good team at home, so I'm going to go for a 2-0 win to FC Dallas. Red Bulls, they need to start picking it up, winning a few games, scoring goals. They haven't really scored many goals this season so far, so they need to really pick it up. So I just don't see them winning this game too much. The next one is Toronto against Philadelphia Union, who are top of the Eastern. Yes, I can't believe it either. Last season they were the kind of team who would beat the team who is top, but would lose badly to the team who were bottom. So they were that kind of, but they found out the way they need to play, and they're playing it pretty well. And they're playing against a Toronto team who are so at home. They were playing pretty well till quite a few games ago, and then they started kind of losing their way. So it's going to be an interesting one. I think Philadelphia might make it tight for them, but I think Toronto might just nick this one. Who knows? But I do think it is going to be a bit Toronto 2-1 in this game. But I could be wrong in this one. Philadelphia could beat them 3-0 because it's just the way Toronto are playing at the moment. But I'm going to stick with 2-1. The next one is East Coast against West Coast, LA Galaxy against New York City FC. I'm just going to go for an easy one here. LA Galaxy always score 2 goals, and in New York City, apart from the last 2 weeks, I think, started only scoring and drawing 2-2. So I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw just to make it kind of safe in my head. It's going to be a good game. It's going to be on TV here too, so I'm looking forward to that one. Obviously Zlatan, he may have a hand in it, scoring a penalty as he always does, and it's going to be like that. It's going to be interesting. They actually got beat by Columbus Crew here, and they are taking on another team in LAFC. It's going to be an interesting one. I think LAFC may have a wee bit too much of them, but Columbus Crew are sound when they are playing at home. So I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw, but I'm going to have a wee backup here, so I'm going to say 2-1 to LAFC. But I stick with 1-1 at the moment. And then the next one is New England Revolution, who have also sacked their manager, Brad Friedel, against San Jose, who are started off pretty badly, but they trusted in their players and trusted in their system, and now they're doing pretty well. Hint hint, New England and Cincinnati and Colorado. Well, Colorado may have been an easy one, but anyway, New England I think they may lose this one 1-0 just for the fact is they've lost the manager and they're going to have a caretaker in who doesn't really know the players that well. So I'm going to kind of guess they're going to lose this one. Sorry, New England fans. And the next one is Chicago against Minnesota, so kind of like a Midwestern derby. It's going to be a nice one. I think it's going to be on Freeview here, but I think it's going to be on quite late at night. So if you're up for that, watch it. It'd be a good one. It's going to be Chicago 1, Minnesota 0. It could be really anything, but I think Minnesota away from home and Chicago at home, they don't really score many goals, so I'm just going to go for an easy one. I know Chicago scored 5 last week, but they're playing a better team, so I'm going to go for a 1-1 now, 1-0, sorry. Then Colorado Rapids against Real Salt Lake. I actually think this is going to be an interesting one. I think Colorado may actually nick this game. Real Salt Lake haven't been what's the word, standout. They just kind of ghosted in through games, and you just don't, when you come to the end of the week, you don't really even think about them. So just shows you how they're not great and they're not the worst, so they're just kind of middle. So I'm kind of going to go for a Colorado one. I think they just may need this game, and they're actually just going to fight for this game, so I think they're going to win this one. They're going to nick it at the end. The next one is Seattle against Houston Dynamo. Houston are a pretty good team. They've only played 2 games or 3 games away from home, and they're playing a Seattle team who are pretty impressive when they're at home, and they're playing pretty impressively at this moment. So I'm going to go for a 3-2 to Seattle. It could be 3-2 the other way, but I think Seattle may have a wee bit too much for them, and Houston may try and nick goals on the break. But Houston don't do really that well when they are really at home, and they have that distance to the northwest. So sorry, Houston. And then the next one is Atlanta against Orlando, the derby, who live about 1,000 miles away from each other. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be on TV here on Sunday. I'm actually looking forward to that game. All the Atlanta fans who hate Orlando, and Orlando fans hate Atlanta for some reason, I don't know. But anyway, it's going to be an interesting game, and I think for the fact now that Atlanta are now finding their feet under Frank, and Orlando have Nani playing very angrily and doing quite well, I think this game is going to be a tight one, but I think it's going to be 2-1 to Atlanta. I think Joseph is going to score, obviously, and I think Nani's going to have a say in it as well. So I'm looking forward to that one. And then the last one is DC United against Sporting Kansas City. Kind of feel disappointed in Sporting Kansas City this season. I think they are depleted at the moment, so can't really kind of look into it too much. And DC United, who another team I'm kind of disappointed in, well, mostly Acosta, he hasn't been particularly doing that well this season, even though he scored last week. But I think there's more in it, and I think they're going to win this one 2-0. They're at home and they're against a team who are completely depleted, and I think they will know this and they will turn it on. So that is my predictions for this week. I hope you enjoyed, and thank you very much for subscribing, and if you haven't already, please do, because it would mean a lot to me. Thank you very much, and good weekend. Bye now.